Lights, camera, action. It's John S's Sports Channel back with everything Championship, League One and running, and anything else you might dare to consider having me have a look at. We're going to start with Game Week 14 predictions. That is Saturday, tomorrow, starting with a great one, Mansfield versus Birmingham, and it's my team to watch. Go watch my team to watch video. I would say that, wouldn't I? Against Birmingham. Now, Birmingham are, to be quite honest, unstoppable. There has been one team to stop them. I did think, could other teams emulate their style and their game plan and try and negate Birmingham's brilliance and technical ability in all these different areas? Does look like it is going to be a whitewash for the rest of the season. Let's just see what we think. Birmingham 5 wins out of 6, just that one defeat, 1-0 away to Charlton, and Charlton can be really technical, can't they? So on the day they turned up and they were really good. So Birmingham just couldn't find a way through. Birmingham don't actually shoot many times. You look at it at the stats, they don't actually make that many shots at target. But when they do shoot at target, it's on target and it's in the net. So the clinical and the technical ability when it's shot at target is absolutely phenomenal. But you're playing a Mansfield side that's also lost just 1 in 6. Ooh, they lost against Stevenage at home, 1-0. Totally out of the blue. Just didn't turn up that day. Don't know why. Just didn't. This could be a lot closer than you think. It is at Mansfield. But Mansfield have been shown to be not great against all teams, whereas Birmingham are just brilliant against all teams, even the one they lost against. So, what are we all saying? 1-2, 1-3, 1-2. You know, I think I have to go with Mansfield scoring. I think that they will manage to score. They are doing really, really well. Will they ruin this 5 wins out of 6? Yeah, I'm afraid I think you will. It could be a draw. Don't be surprised if this is a 2-2 draw, but I'm going to go with Mansfield 1, Birmingham 2. But watch out for that 2-2 draw. We have to go with Reading Bristol Rovers next, and yeah, Reading are playing really well. They beat Exeter. 1 minute, that first minute goal was quite good, wasn't it? And Bristol Rovers, yeah, these turn up or they don't turn up. And I said, well, are they going to turn up or are they not? Well, they did seem to turn up against Shrewsbury, and they managed to sort of control the game. It was quite even. It was quite even, but I thought Bristol Rovers tried a little bit more up front and managed to just have that edge over Shrewsbury, but only just. I mean, there wasn't an awful lot in it. So perhaps it's just a little bit of one of the teams had to win. They lost against Swindon in the Mickey Mouse Trophy. They lost against Huddersfield 3-1 away, but then they won 3-2 at home to Charlton. You know, this is a side that can really turn up and play brilliant football, or it doesn't. But more often than not, they don't. And I think because they turned up last week, I don't think they're going to turn up this week. What are you saying? 2-1, 2-1, 3-1, 1-0. I'm going to go with the majority, and I'm going to go with Reading 2, Bristol Rovers 1. Bolton versus Peterborough now. And Bolton, yeah, they've been really good. I thought they'd get 2 goals against Birmingham. I thought they might get a draw. and I still think they could have done had they turned up, but they just didn't seem to have the nous to do it. Birmingham City 71% play, 29 to Bolton. They only had one shot on target, Bolton, and that's what Birmingham did to them. They just stopped them from having any sight at goal, and if they were going to have a sight, it was going to be from way outside the box. But we know they can shoot from there, and that's what got me. We know they can score. We know they can score from anywhere. And they're playing a Peterborough side that seem to do really well from set pieces, free kicks, corners. 5-1 against Blackpool, didn't see that coming. I don't think it was really a 5-1 game. I looked at that and I thought, surely that wasn't really that one-sided, was it? I mean, Blackpool had more of the play. Blackpool had more shots. But at the end of the day, Peterborough had 7 on target, 5 goals, and Blackpool had 4 on target, 1 goal. So actually, it wasn't as one-sided as the score suggests. It was just their technical ability at the end of the day. So I'm sort of either way on this, and I'm going to be ruled by what you lot say, because I think this is one of those games where I can see it being a draw, but I don't want to go for a draw. What am I seeing here? 1-1, 1-1, 3-3, 2-0, 1-0, 0-1. I'm going to go with Bolton getting their mojo. I'm going to go with Bolton 1, Peterborough 0. This could be anything, guys. I mean, it could be literally 3-0 in either direction, or a draw. It really could be anything. I'm going to have one of my favourite games next. This is going to be my favourite game. I said to you, didn't I? Cambridge are going to be that. I said that Stevenage will look at Cambridge as being easy to beat, and they'll go there, underestimate them, and get beaten. Guess what? They went there, underestimated them, got beaten. And Stevenage, should have known better. Cambridge actually... Oh dear. Cambridge actually didn't do too bad. For the amount of play they got, they actually had more shots and more shots on target than Stevenage, which is really good. And it was enjoyable football. It was well more enjoyable than the Cambridge Rotherham game. Two dire teams that could have been in 24th and 23rd position. This isn't the same Cambridge. And they're playing a Burton side which 6 straight defeats on here. I really can't see them getting out of it anymore any time soon. They played quite well against Bolton, did Burton. And they didn't play too badly against Wickham. That 3-2 defeat at home is not that bad. And they didn't play dreadful like they did against Rotherham. So I think that this is a team that could do something. But they're playing a team in Cambridge that have just got their tails up, and they're well under it. What's the score? Well, 1-1, 1-1, 2-1, 2-0. I think this could easily be equal. They're going to be the same result as the last 2 games, and we're going to go with Cambridge 2, Burton 0. Then we go to Exeter versus Bristol Rovers, and look at some of my notes from the other weeks. Exeter versus Bristol Rovers. Cambridge versus Burton. I was looking at the game halfway down there. Sorry. Charlton versus Wrexham, isn't it? Next, Charlton versus Wrexham. So we know about Wrexham. They're really, really good. I mean, they lost away at at Stevenage 1-0. And won Northampton 4-1. In the Mickey Mouse Cup, they won Wolverhampton Wanderers under 21s 3-0. Rotherham, they won 1-0. Huddersfield 0-0. You know, they are, whether people say they don't like their style of play with 5 across the back, they are stopping the opposition from scoring, and it's as simple as that. That back 5 stops the opposition from getting through. Simple. End of. Leighton Orient 0-0 is typical of that. Will stop them from scoring, bang. But they couldn't score at the other end because they got all the people right back in the 5-man defence. And I actually thought they might have, keeping to that, they might get more 0-0 draws, but they're not. They're winning the ones that I thought they might get 0-0 in. And you're playing a Charlton side that can be really technical and can do really well, but they've not really done that well in the last 6 games. 3 defeats, 2 draws, and a win against Birmingham. You win against Birmingham, and then you draw 1-1 against Stockport County, and draw 2-2 against Barnsley, and you think, this isn't the same team, is it? They're a bit hit and miss, and it's not something that I can see Wrexham not taking advantage of. They can be hit and miss. Will they be hit and miss at home? Doesn't seem to matter whether they're at home or not, whether they're hit and miss. I'm going to go with Charlton 1. No, I'm not. I'm going to go with Charlton 0, Wrexham 1. I'm going to go that way. See, I change it at the last minute. I'm just looking at what you're all saying. 1-1, 0-1, 1-0. You're going sort of like right on the fence, and 1 goal either way, or a draw 1-1. Yeah, I mean, I can see all those 3 results being right. I do get swayed by what you're saying. You see, please do put your comments coming in. If you don't like what I say, put the comments in below. I have had a championship lad that said I hadn't seen the Preston North End rocket up the table. Yeah, not quite rocketing, but they have won a couple and drawn a couple, and slightly risen up the table. But do keep your comments coming in. Do put them in, and I do listen to them, like JD from Barnsley knows full well. Huddersfield versus Exeter. Now, Huddersfield, Exeter. Exeter in 6th, Huddersfield in 5th. Huddersfield have started to come back. They had a period where they played really poorly. Then they started to get things together a little bit. And then sort of like a couple of games, 2 or 3 games around the Reading-Birmingham time, where they were just not quite there, and they just couldn't get that last bit of the jigsaw in place. And then Barnsley 2-0 win. Then in the Mickey Mouse Trophy, Barnsley 2-0 win, and then 3-1 win against Bristol Rovers, and a 0-0 against Wrexham. Just couldn't beat that 5-man brick wall behind, could they? I think that they'll want to come out fighting and prove that they can actually score, and I think they will. But they're playing an Exeter side who have been doggedly determined, and out of the last 6 games, they lost against Reading last time out, but Reading actually played really, really well. I'm really impressed by them, and I think we're gonna see a really tough game here. I would be surprised if it's quite high scoring. And there we are. There's my first high score predictor. What are you saying? 3-2, 2-0, 2-1, 2-0. You're going with Huddersfield. I'm going to go with the person who said 3-2. I said it was going to be high scoring. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go Huddersfield 3, Exeter 2. And if that's a 3-3, don't be surprised. Exeter fans, you should be proud of your side. It's doing absolutely brilliantly. If I was an Exeter fan, I'd be well proud. Lincoln versus Stockport County, and all those Lincoln fans that kept talking, kept commenting. I think our team's going to be. One person, we're going to be top of the league first, and if not, we'll be second. And I'm thinking, they were so confident. We've got Lincoln in 10th versus Stockport in 9th. There's so many other teams thinking exactly the same thing at the beginning of the season. We're going to do better than you think. And Lincoln actually have been doing it, and they've dropped to 10th. 2 defeats in a row, one against Birmingham and one against Crawley. And actually Crawley surprised me with their win against Lincoln. They played really well, didn't they? I think Lincoln will want to bounce back after that, but Stockport County, 4 draws out of 5, 1 win against Shrewsbury, and the draws were against Barnsley, Wigan, Charlton, and Northampton. So they're not especially brilliant sides. So I would be thinking this is they're playing Stockport at probably the right time. 0-1 you're saying to Stockport, 1-1, 2-0 to Lincoln, 1-0 to Lincoln. I'm going to go Lincoln 2, Stockport 0. I just think that the doldrums at Stockport are probably of their own making. I don't think that they've been playing badly. I think that they've just been they've hit 1 or 2 sides at the wrong time, and their heads have dropped. I don't think they've been playing really bad football, and you can tell by their position in the league, 9th, that it's not. It's slightly pulled them down the table, but that table is so even now. You could go up into the top 6 from there, or back down into the sort of 12th, 13th position with just one defeat. So I think Lincoln 2, Stockport 0 is a good prediction there. Stockport could get 1 and make it 2-1, but the person that said 1-1, there's a good chance, there's a slight chance that you might be right there. Perhaps you ought to go into and put a pound on it. Northampton Town versus Crawley. Now, this is difficult because I thought Northampton had started to play really well. And I think they did against Stockport County and came away with a 1-1 draw. Now, I think they were a bit unfortunate to get to go behind on 87 minutes from the penalty. That's debatable. But to come back and win it on 90+3 was just amazing. I think that Northampton did really well from what they had. They didn't have enough shots on target, but they did really well with what they did. Crawley, however, 3-0 against Lincoln City. And I thought they were well on top. I really did think Crawley Town, when you looked at it, were well on top. They were actually, they got every single one of their shots on target in the net. Other than that, they were actually even on shots and even on possession, really, but they just looked more planned, and they looked their precision in the passing was a lot better, and their crossing I thought was a lot better. And I could see something in the Crawley game, and I said that in the review. Crawley should be proud. They were showing themselves to be really well managed. And I even liked them against Reading. They lost 4-1. I didn't think that was quite the right result there. I thought that they played really well. So I think on the whole, I have to be going for Crawley Town. Now, let's just look at, because this is really interesting, because I can see this being a high stakes game, high impact game. Northampton 19th, Crawley in 21st. Crawley are doing really well. I think Crawley will win. I think there's going to be a lot of goals against. It's my second game that I'm saying is going to be high scoring. Now, yeah, I put 3-2 on the last one. Let's see what I'm going to put on this one. What do you say? Northampton 4, Northampton 3, Crawley 4. Northampton 1-0, 1-1. Crawley 1-0. You know, I'm going to have to. I'm going to break. I'm going to play my joker on this one because I think nobody said this. I'm going to go with Northampton 2, Crawley 3. And I could see this being a 3-3 draw. I really could. Hell, you could. I think a 3-3 draw is probably on the cards, if not. Oh dear Lord, it's my team next. Jesus. So we've got Rotherham versus Stevenage. Rotherham in 17th, Stevenage in 13th. And Rotherham, they won against Cambridge, their first away win in nearly 2 years. And they won again at home against Reading 2-1. And Reading are actually playing really well. Then they won against Newcastle under-21s in the Mickey Mouse Cup. And then a 3-3 draw away at Peterborough, losing a 3-1 lead to draw 3-3. We were just awful after a while. We just seemed to just let them turn around a 10-man team, attackers, and it was just dreadful after we'd got 3-1 up. Wrexham 1-0. We deserved to lose that. We did. Orient 1-0 defeat. Yeah, didn't turn up. It's a case of will we turn up or will we just keep on not turning up? And we're playing a Stevenage side that won Charlton, won against Wrexham, lost to Peterborough again in the Mickey Mouse, won to Mansfield, who were playing really well, and then lost to Cambridge, who have started getting the mojo back. So it's not an easy game to predict, this one. And had it been a couple of games ago, a week and a half ago, I'd have been saying Stevenage going to win this one 1-0. However, I'm looking at what you're thinking, I'm looking at what you're saying, and you're right, I think Rotherham are more steady at the minute, and more persistent and more continuous. They are doing well in parts of the game, whereas Stevenage tend to be just out of it against teams that Stevenage they just underestimated them. 61% possession to Stevenage, but 10 shots, 4 on target, and no goals, and you think they're just not. The shots were like bobbling along the ground, and you're thinking, if you're going to shoot. And I can hear what you say. I'm going to go with Rotherham 1, Stevenage 0, and that's just because of you lot. I really could have gone the other way round. Shrewsbury versus Barnsley next, and Shrewsbury Town are in 22nd, Barnsley are in 8th. The only win Shrewsbury have got in the last 6 has been Crawley away. So Crawley 3, Shrewsbury 5. And God knows where it came from, because like I said, we have seen Crawley get steadily better over the last 3 or 4 games, and that one was like totally against the run of play. And I just think that Shrewsbury Town have been playing well. They're really inconsistent. I mean, that's the best way of putting it, isn't it? They could turn up and do the game that they did against Crawley, and a team that has started to do really well trounce them. But they might not. And against the Barnsley side that are really inconsistent, they do something and then they don't, and then they'll lose it in the first few minutes, and they'll lose it in the last few minutes, and you're thinking, oh we've got to just get past the first few minutes, get past the, get up to those last few minutes and put the brick wall up, but don't lose it either side of the game. I find this difficult. What are you saying? Jake D says Shrewsbury 1, Barnsley 3. Well, he would do. He's a Barnsley fan, but he's very, very good with his scores. He keeps getting. Yeah, when he said it in the live streams, it's probably we're going to lose. We're going to let one in before they. And lo and behold, the opposition equalised, and it's like he's very good with knowing what Barnsley are playing like and how the score's going to go roughly. So I trust Jake quite a lot. Other people 1-2, 2-2, 1-2. So you're all sort of going Barnes, well, one draw, but most of you going sort of 1-0, 2-1, 3-1 to Barnsley. I'm going to go with Jake. I'm going to go with Shrewsbury 1, Barnsley 3. Wycombe versus Leyton Orient next, and Wycombe versus Leyton Orient. Wycombe in 3rd versus Leyton Orient in 20th, and Leyton Orient just got the goal against Rotherham and found that Rotherham hadn't turned up to play a game of football. Other than that, they've been pretty poor. A loss to Northampton, lost to Lincoln, lost to Exeter. They did do 0-0 against Wrexham, probably because, again, that 5-man wall that Wrexham put up, they weren't going to score, but they made sure that Wrexham couldn't score with the fewer people they got in the main field. Draw 1-1 against Colchester United in the Mickey Mouse Trophy. And you can see that there's definitely a mismatch. And I don't think you can really take the Rotherham win last time out because we were awful. I think there's only one winner here, and it's Wycombe Wanderers. So what are you saying? 2-0, 1-0, 3-0, 2-0. I'm going to go and equal with all of you lot, well, most of you, and go Wycombe 2, Leyton Orient 0. So that's that one, and then we have to go to Monday, I believe, for the Blackpool-Wigan game. So Blackpool in 16th, Wigan in 18th. You'd be thinking this would be quite some game. Blackpool just lost their new manager, bouncing. The wheels have come off, and okay, the manager's not been around for the last 2 games, has he? But he will get over this, and yeah, it's a tough time for him. I do know what he's going through. Absolutely, certainly similar myself. So they won against Huddersfield. Blackpool won against Huddersfield, won against Burton, drew against Lincoln, and then they've lost against Mansfield, Barnsley, and Peterborough. Now, can they get this back together? The trouble is when you start losing 3 in a row like that against teams that aren't particularly top of their game, is that it gets into your head and it plays with your head. Plus they're playing a team in Wigan that have actually been playing really well. I thought they played well against Mansfield, but they lost 2-1, and it really could have been easily a draw or even a Wigan win. I think 65% possession to Wigan, 22 shots for Wigan, 4 on target, and it's one of those again, if they get half as many of those that were on target, they're winning 3-4-0, not 2-1 defeat. So Wigan can do something here. It's a case of these teams over the last 3 games, 3 defeats out of 3 for Blackpool. We can't count the Mickey Mouse Trophy, so it's 2 defeats and a draw for Wigan, and you think this could be a bore draw, couldn't it? And I don't think it will be. I can see most of you going for Blackpool, and I think that they will turn it around. Will they turn it around at the weekend? They might do. Blackpool fans, you could easily turn it around and suddenly thump Wigan out of the park. But if they get a portion of the number of shots they're having on target instead of wide, they could knock Blackpool out of the park. I mean, this could be 5-0 either direction. You know, this is the sort of thing I'm thinking about. This could easily be 5-0 either direction. And I'm not kidding. You look at the stats for Wigan in the last game. Yeah, they could easily do it. And Blackpool do have the ability to score. And you know, if they get their mojo and they get this new manager bounce back on track again, they get this train back on the tracks and running forward, they're going to be quite formidable. So it's difficult for me, and because of that, I'm going to sit on the fence and go Blackpool 1, Wigan 1. This is John S.'s Sports Channel getting game week 14 predictions done. Please do like and subscribe. Do need those likes. I definitely need some more subscribers for YouTube to put me out there and help people to see me and come along to my watch-alongs, which I will be doing. I do every Saturday. I occasionally do them on a Friday, but certainly on a Saturday I try and do both lots, lunch and 3 o'clock. Please do like and subscribe. John S. Sports Channel, signing out. See you soon.